Hello, everyone. I am super excited to have Dr. Ernest P. Chan, fondly known as Ernie, on today's show. He's from PredictNow.ai, a financial machine learning software that enables traders to apply machine learning predictions to their investment decisions. In fact, they successfully applied the PredictNow.ai software to their own investment strategy, which has recently reduced the drawdown of the strategy by over 20%. Predict Now was built for individuals, teams, and enterprises who can access their self-serve no-code platform where users can bring their own data and conduct their own feature engineering. The service utilizes a user's past trading record augmented with big data to compute the probability of profit for the next trade. These probability predictions can also be used as a risk management layer to mitigate drawbacks for a portfolio or trade position. So, huge welcome once again to our guest Ernie. It's amazing to have you on our show today. So before we kick off, let's have you talk a little bit about how you got started in the business. Tell me your backstory and how you came to Predict Now.
Thanks for inviting me. And yes, so actually, it's I happened upon machine learning, through quite a unconventional path because my PhD was actually in physics. I have not done a single day of machine learning prior to getting a job at IBM Research doing exactly that. So I'm grateful that IBM took a chance on me. Hiring someone without a single iota of experience in machine learning and putting me in one of the foremost research group in machine learning, just on the strength of a colleague's recommendation. I have a friend, a classmate actually, who was working there and recommended that I be hired. So that was how I got into machine learning. And that group also have an interesting history where, in addition to being one of the foremost natural language processing lab at the time, and speech recognition research group at the time, it also produced some of the most successful quantitative hedge fund managers in the world, in history. And so I also caught the finance bug as a result of working there for 3 years. And that's when I also decided to try my luck in the financial world by joining Morgan Stanley.
Great. Tell me a little bit about you, Ernie. You've done a lot of papers and talks on crypto trading and financial technology platforms and the entire ecosystem. But what is your most memorable work to date? And maybe you can tell us why.
Well, I think that one insight that we have, I have learned personally is that despite the promise of AI, it is not quite ready in many domains to completely take over the human decisions. I often draw the analogy between completely autonomous vehicle and assisted driving technology. So if you look around our neighborhood, you don't see too many self-driving cars. Despite many years of research and multiple billions or maybe even $1 trillion of investment into that domain, it has not, quite frankly, been a commercial success yet. But you can hardly buy a car without assisted driving technology where lots of AI is actually being used to correct the mistakes made by humans. And it is the same with applying AI to finance. It has been very difficult for AI to completely develop a trading strategy from scratch and be successful over the long term. Sure, it could be successful for a year or two, but it has not, there are not many cases where it can completely take over the trading function. But it has been proven that AI can successfully correct many errors and mistakes made by humans, especially in trading. And that is the point of view that we took when we started the company, applying AI to correct incorrect decisions made by either humans or by other simpler algorithms. We started off as algorithmic trader. We are not discretionary trader. But even simple algorithm can make many errors that AI can correct.
Great. Ernie, in our pre-show call, you talked very passionately about the importance of data over fancy AI algorithms. I think this is a really important message. Can you talk more about why businesses today are missing the point by going blindly after AI algorithms without a deep understanding of data? Maybe you can share an example of this.
Yes. So, and this is not a sort of a, unique insight that we gain. I often quote something that the current IBM CEO have said. The current CEO actually came from a machine learning background. And he said that 80% of the effort that goes into a successful machine learning project is due to data. Only 20% are due to algorithms. And actually, I would go much further than him. I would say that 99% is data, 1% is algorithm. Because most machine learning algorithms nowadays are fairly stable. It's whether you're using deep learning or gradient boosted decision trees, hardly any business has to invent their own algorithm. If that's the case, progress will be very slow. So everybody are using the same algorithm. What differentiates their successes are what kind of data they use and how they massage the data into a usable form. Oftentimes, when we engage with a commercial enterprise, it takes many meetings to get to a point where we can figure out whether they have the right data, whether we can format the data correctly. That takes much of the time. And once you have the data in the right format, to feed it through a machine learning algorithm is often trivial because we have already encoded it on our SaaS platform. It's standardized. Any high school student could have won it. But the data part, well, that really requires a lot of effort and expertise.
For sure. So your company excels at correcting human error in the analysis of large data set for maybe even multinational companies, much like the assisted driving solution metaphor that we discussed earlier. And we know that you're the domain experts in finance, but wouldn't it be complicated to apply a solution to companies in other industries?
Yes, so I would say that we certainly need to have some domain expert to participate in the project. But usually we learn from from our user all the domain knowledge that is needed. That's interesting. We have applied this technology. We discuss it with partners in finance certainly, but also in oil exploration and in semiconductor manufacturing. And it doesn't take more than a few conversations to really get to the gist of what the data and what's the use cases. The key sort of expertise that we bring to the table is data science expertise. So it's not so much a machine learning, but a data science expertise that are being particularly helpful in this case. A lot of data suffer from the same problem, missing data, data that is erroneous, data that is highly correlated, data that has a huge dimension, and so on and so forth, data that is sporadic and not continuous, data that have different frequency. How do you merge them together? Just for one example, you might have a trading algorithm that need daily prices and as well as news event. But this news event input might come as sporadic interval. It certainly doesn't. You don't expect news every day at 4 o'clock. Right, you might have the news before the open, sometimes during the trading day, sometimes after the close. So how to merge these different data in with different frequency into a proper data set. Well, that's something that financial data scientists have worked with for a long time. And that same problem, same challenge are present in many, many industry verticals. In fact, I would say that to really learn to be a great data scientist, there's no better place than to work in finance, because finance is being such a quantitative discipline for so long. The most advanced mathematics, you cannot imagine the amount of mathematics that is being applied to finance. Is that it really is the field across all industry where the most powerful mathematics have been applied. And it has and for people who have trained themselves in finance, they are fully equipped to enter into any industry, be it space exploration or semiconductor manufacturing or oil exploration. They will possess all the tools, data science tools, computational tools, mathematical tools that are applicable across the board. And I have seen that firsthand, and it is quite an interesting phenomenon.
Absolutely. Thanks for that. So we're winding down our show at this point, and it's been really quite a blast learning about your perspective on data. So tell us a little bit about the biggest lesson that you've learned in your entrepreneurial journey so far.
Well, I think that as an entrepreneur, it is certainly not all about product. You can certainly have the greatest product, but if nobody knows about it, that would not be a successful enterprise. So I think education is a great part, is a very important part of our company. So we have made a great effort in publicizing our research. A lot of our research are published in journals, on our website as blogs. So we are not shy about sharing our knowledge with our users. You'll find many papers, blog posts, and webinars, and they are very well attended. I remember a year ago, when we announced the webinar, there's like 1,000 people who sign up to even listen to it live or the recording. And so I think that I wouldn't call that marketing. So I would say that, just the general educational outlook has been very productive, both for our company and as well as our users. And and apart from that, there is of course the financial, the sort of the investment side of things. So one has to find out whether what sort of funding is the most appropriate for a company. Of course, it's easy to say, well, let's go find venture capital funding, but oftentimes a successful business may be highly unattractive to a VC, because unless one believes that the business can return, let's say 100 times the capital to a VC, is oftentimes not attractive. So all these things, some of which are new to me. Some of them I have known for a while, because this is not the first time I run a profitable business. But certainly looking at a business from the point of the VC is certainly a new experience to me. It's very different from, for example, running a hedge fund. So running a hedge fund, you want to be very sort of conservative in what you pitch to the investor. You say, well, hopefully we'll generate 10% return, and if it does generate 11%, you have fulfilled your promise. You want to be under promising but it seems to me that it's a very different environment in startups, where you're pitching a dream, not reality, and that's quite different. Yes,
absolutely. So one more for the road. Just let us know how our audience can get in touch with you.
Yes, they can certainly reach me, by going to my personal website, epcheng.com. I have my email contact there. So so I reply to practically every email that I receive. So yeah, I over the years have many readers of my book come to me with questions, and they come away with decent answers. I might add. Yes, so.
Sounds great. Well, Ernie, it's been such a thrill having you on our show today. Thank you for your time once again. And it's Anne once again from SuperCharge Lab on behalf of the AIP podcast, signing off. Over to you.
Thank you, Anne.